All right, we're going to look at an equation that has an infinite amount of solutions. So just like all of our other equations, we're going to solve this using the same steps we always do for solving an equation, because we won't know until we get to our later steps that this answer is going to be infinite solutions. So we're going to take this 2 and we're going to distribute into our parentheses as our first step. Again, when we distribute, that number has to be multiplied to all of the values inside our parentheses. So 2 times 2x is 4x, 2 times 3 is 6, so we have 4x plus 6, and we're going to bring down the left side of the equation that we haven't used yet. So we have 4x plus 6 equals 4x plus 6. Now, we want to get our variables on the same side of our equation. So to do that, we need to either move the variables from the left side to the right or right side to the left. We could do it either way. So I'm going to take the variable on the left side and move it to the right. And to get rid of this, I'm going to subtract 4x. Again, to keep our equation balanced, if I subtract 4x from the left side, I also have to subtract it from the right side. 4x minus 4x cancels out. And on the right side, the same thing. We have 4x minus 4x is equal to 0, so it cancels out. So we're going to bring down what we have left, which is 6 equals 6. Now, this here is a true statement. 6 is equal to 6. And what this tells us when we come to a statement like this is that any value that we plug in for x is going to give us an answer to this equation, which is why we have infinite solutions for this equation. So any value for x would work as an answer for this equation. So real quick, I'm going to go back and resolve this out a different way. So again, our first step would be to distribute, which gets us to 4x plus 6 equals 4x plus 6. Now on an infinite solution equation, this step could be an ending point. The reason for that is because both sides of the equation are equal to each other. So any value that we plug in for x is going to make this equation true. If we don't see that at that point, we can continue to solve. This time I'm going to get rid of the numbers here first, which leaves us with just 4x on both sides, as 6 minus 6 is going to cancel out on both sides of the equation. So we have 4x equals 4x. If I divide both sides by 4, I'd be left with x equals x as my equation. Now, when we have an equation with variables, we're trying to figure out what number we would plug in for x. What is x equal to? Well, if x is equal to itself, then that would allow us to put in any value for x, and this equation would still be true, which brings us back to infinite solutions for this problem. So if any time in the solving process, if both sides of our equal sign are exactly the same, so we had 4x plus 6 equals 4x plus 6, we know it's an infinite solution. 4x equals 4x, we know it's an infinite solution. And at the end here, x equals x, we know that this has to be an infinite solution problem.